In 2021, a marketing agency owner in Austin was running 12 client accounts with a team of 8 people. 18 months later, she was running 40 client accounts with a team of 3. She didn't hire geniuses. She just let AI do the job 4 of her employees used to do. Today, we're ranking 6 AI-powered businesses you could realistically start in 2026, from smallest barrier to entry all the way up to the one with the highest ceiling. For each one, you'll get the real startup cost, how steep the learning curve actually is, and what operators are charging clients right now based on current market data. Stay through to the end, because the last business on this list is the only one where the customer is legally required to spend the money. The only question is whether they spend it with you or with somebody else. Before the ranking, here's the filter I run every single one of these through. Filter 1. Does the buyer actually have money? You want customers who can write a check without flinching. Filter 2. Is the space expanding or shrinking? A great idea in a dying market is still a dying business. Every business on this list clears both bars. And one more thing before we start. None of these require a computer science degree. They require you to understand a problem well enough to point AI at it and supervise the output. That's it. Let's start at number 6. Becoming an AI-powered operations assistant for busy founders and executives. This isn't answering emails for minimum wage. This is using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and automation platforms to run someone's inbox, calendar, research, and small recurring tasks so they get their time back. Every founder has the same complaint. They're buried in 50 small decisions a day that don't need their brain, just their signature. You become the layer between them and the noise. Here's the number that matters. The human virtual assistant services market is valued at roughly $6.5 billion in 2026, and multiple industry forecasts have it climbing past $40 billion by the mid-2030s, growing north of 20% a year. That's not a fad. That's a structural shift in how solo founders and small teams operate. Startup cost is close to zero. You're using tools that already exist. The skill ceiling is low to start, but the income ceiling is real. Operators managing 4 or 5 retained clients are commonly billing between $10,000 and $20,000 a month combined, once they're handling calendars, inbox triage, light research, and recurring admin work with AI doing the heavy lifting. The buyer here is a busy founder or creator who values their hours more than their dollars. And that buyer is not going anywhere in 2026. Number 5, an AI content multiplication studio. Every business owner today is sitting on hours of raw footage. Podcasts, webinars, sales calls, coaching sessions, and almost none of them are turning it into content. Your job is to take that raw material and multiply it into shorts, carousels, newsletters, and posts across every platform their audience actually lives on. The tools already do most of the technical lifting. Clip detection, captions, reformatting for each platform. So your value is taste, pacing, and matching a brand's voice, not manual editing. The creator economy sits somewhere between $200 and $300 billion in 2026, depending on how it's measured, and Goldman Sachs projects the total addressable market could approach $480 billion by 2027. That's the pool of money businesses and creators are pulling from to fund exactly this kind of work. Startup cost is low. Most repurposing tools have usable free tiers. Effort is medium, because clients with strong brand guidelines expect precision, not just output. Editors running this as a lean shop are commonly charging between $10,000 and $30,000 a month across just 5 to 7 retained clients, and that ceiling keeps climbing as more brands treat repurposing as non-negotiable instead of optional. If you already live inside YouTube and TikTok for fun, this is the business where your hobby becomes your income statement. Number 4. An AI workflow build-out agency, helping businesses automate the repetitive processes eating their week. Lead intake, follow-up sequences, scheduling, reporting, internal approvals. Every company has 3 or 4 workflows quietly wasting hours every week, and most owners don't know AI can now close that gap without a developer. You don't need to be an engineer. You need to understand the client's tools, describe the outcome to an AI system, and let it write the automation logic for you, then test and refine it. The hyperautomation market. The umbrella term for this kind of AI-driven business process automation is valued at roughly $77 billion in 2026, and multiple forecasts put it well past $250 billion within the next decade. Startup cost is medium, because you'll want paid access to a few automation platforms once client work gets serious. Effort is medium to high. You're learning how businesses actually operate, not just which buttons to click. But the income reflects the complexity. Operators building and maintaining automations for small and mid-sized businesses commonly charge between $20,000 and $50,000 a month once they're running multiple client accounts, with ongoing maintenance retainers stacking on top of build fees. The buyer is any business old enough to have built its processes before AI existed, which, in 2026, is almost every business. The best part of this business is that you can find your first proof of concept inside your own life. Automate one annoying process for a friend's small business for free, screen record the before and after, and you've just built a sales demo that closes deals better than any pitch deck. Number 3, an AI-powered lead pipeline agency. You find, qualify, and warm up prospects for companies using AI, and they pay you for every opportunity that lands in their sales team's lap. Think about the math from the buyer's side. If you told a business owner, give me $1 and I'll hand you back 10, they'd hand you every dollar they had. That's the entire pitch of this business. AI can now research a company, personalize outreach at scale, qualify interest, and even book the meeting. Tasks that used to require an entire junior sales team. The global lead generation industry is projected to reach roughly $295 billion by 2027, growing at close to 17% a year, and AI-driven prospecting tools are a major reason that growth is accelerating. Startup cost is low. Prospecting and enrichment tools are inexpensive to start with. Effort sits medium to high, because you need real marketing and copywriting instincts, not just software. Agencies that get good at this are commonly billing $30,000 to $80,000 a month because they're not selling hours, they're selling revenue. And companies will always pay more for a service that pays for itself. The buyer test is simple. If a company is already running paid ads, they already have budget for this. You're just offering them a better return on it. Number 2, managed AI threat defense. Round-the-clock monitoring and response for businesses now facing attackers who use AI too. Deepfake voice calls, cloned executives, phishing written by language models instead of broken English. The attacks got smarter the same year the defenses did, and most small and mid-sized companies have no one watching the door. This one is not beginner-friendly, and it shouldn't be sold as one. But if you're technically minded, this is where the money gets serious. Cybersecurity Ventures projects global spending on cybersecurity products and services will pass $520 billion in 2026, up from $260 billion just 5 years earlier. The spend has doubled in half a decade. Startup cost is high because credible monitoring tools and threat intelligence platforms aren't cheap. Effort is high. You need real security fundamentals before you take on a paying client, not a weekend course. But operators running managed detection and response retainers for a handful of serious clients are commonly earning $40,000 to $80,000 a month because the buyer isn't paying for software. They're paying to sleep at night. One thing worth telling every business owner watching this, free of charge. Set up a verification code word with your team and your family for any request involving money or access, because voice cloning has made "it's really me" impossible to trust on a phone call alone. Number 1, AI governance and compliance consulting. Helping companies prove their AI systems are safe, fair, and legal before a regulator forces the question. Every business now running AI on top of customer data, hiring decisions, or healthcare information is sitting on legal exposure most of them don't fully understand yet. This is the one business on the list where the buyer legally cannot say no forever. The European Union's AI Act moves into full enforcement for high-risk systems starting August 2026, with penalties reaching up to €35 million or 7% of a company's global revenue for the most serious violations. Gartner projects global AI governance platform spending will hit roughly $492 million in 2026 and surpass $1 billion by 2030, and that's before counting the consulting, audit, and advisory work layered on top of the software itself. Startup cost is medium. You need real knowledge, not expensive tools. Effort is high because the learning curve on data privacy and AI regulation is steep and constantly shifting. But standard rates in this world mirror traditional risk and compliance consulting, which means $50,000 to $100,000 a month is realistic once you're serving a handful of larger clients, because bigger companies pay bigger fees for the same peace of mind. If you're the type of person who already reads regulatory news for fun, 2026 just turned that habit into a business model. And because this regulation isn't limited to Europe, similar frameworks are moving through legislatures in the US and Asia. The demand for this expertise isn't a regional trend, it's a global one that's only getting bigger from here. Every business on this list works for the same 3 reasons: real AI leverage, real demand, and buyers who can actually afford to pay. None of these are overnight side hustles. They're real businesses that reward the person willing to go all in, learn in public, and stack clients month over month. If AI business breakdowns like this one are useful to you, subscribe to Finance IQ, because we publish a new one every single week, breaking down exactly how these industries actually make their money. Every idea on this list started as somebody's first client, working nights, figuring it out with the same AI tools you already have access to right now. Which one of these 6 would you actually start? Drop the number in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.